It's time to play America's most quoted game,
Says Who?
Says your Says Who host, Rick Kay.
Thank you. Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining us here on Says Who, the fun-filled game of unforgettable quotations made by some pretty unforgettable people. Today's special topic, the classic Frank Capra film starring Jimmy Stewart, It's a Wonderful Life. We'll get to our game in just a second, but first, let's meet our contestants. Bill, how you doing this evening?
Fine, thanks. How you doing?
Fine, thanks. Where do you live?
I live in Lombard.
Okay, and when is the first time you saw this film?
And the first time I saw it, I can't remember how old it was, but it was the Marlo Thomas remake on television. But yeah, I liked it then, but I really enjoy the Jimmy Stewart version a lot better.
Do you like the Jimmy Stewart version better? Okay, great. Dee, where do you live?
I live in Roselle.
Okay, and when is the first time you saw It's a Wonderful Life?
Oh, when my daughter was quite little and we saw it on TV together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite scene in the movie?
Yeah, I kind of like the part where George realizes it is a wonderful life and he's running down the street wishing everybody a Merry Christmas, and it's really touching.
It is.
I love it.
Maybe he'll show up later.
I hope so.
We'll see. John, how are you this evening?
I'm doing good, Rick.
Great. And where do you live?
I'm in Villa Park.
Okay. And when's the first time you saw the film?
Probably when I was in 5th grade.
Oh, okay. So you've seen it quite a few times then, right?
Quite a few.
Any idea how many?
No, at least once a year, and then twice in the past 5 or 10 years.
Okay. Well, you'll be up to date on it. I'm sure you'll do fine.
Thank you.
Right. Let me tell you how we play Says Who. The name of our quotable person first appears on the screen along with a brief introduction to the quote. Next is the quote itself that has to be completed. Please note that the first letter of each word is already in place and the missing letters are shown at the top. The first player then picks one of these letters. For example, a T. After that letter is placed in the appropriate number of spaces, the first player has 10 seconds to try to complete the quote. If he can't, the next player picks a letter. For example, an O. Then that player has 10 seconds to try to complete the quote. The first player to correctly complete the Says Who quote is the winner of that round. Each round starts with a value of 100 points, but for each letter our players use, the value is reduced by 5 points. So the fewer letters used, the more points scored. And the player with the most points scored is our winner and gets to play our Says Who bonus round. So without further ado, let's all play
Says Who?
Well, our first scene from It's a Wonderful Life shows George Bailey telling off Old Man Potter at a board of directors meeting, shortly after George's father dies.
Anyway, my father didn't think so. People were human beings to him, but to you, a warped, frustrated old man, they're cattle. Well, in my book, he died a much richer man than you'll ever be.
I'm not interested in your book. I'm talking about the building and loan.
I know very well what you're talking about. You're talking about something you can't get your fingers on, and it's galling you. That's what you're talking about, I know. Well, I've said too much. You're the board here. You do what you want with this thing. There's just one thing more, though. This town needs this measly one-horse institution, if only...
Says Who, says George. For 100 points, pick a letter for us.
I'll take an E, please.
An E. Good choice, Bill. There are 9 E's. Okay, D. Choose a letter for us, please.
I'll try an R.
An R. There are 3 R's. Says George, this town needs this measly one-horse institution if only... Okay, John, choose a letter for us, please.
M.
An M. There are 2 M's. This will be for 90 points.
To have some place where people can come without crawling to Potter.
Exactly. Good job. Says George, to have some place where people can come without crawling to Potter.
There's just one thing more, though. This town needs this measly one-horse institution, if only to have some place where people can come without crawling to Potter. Come on.
Very good. Well, our next scene, actually 2 scenes, reveals what George thinks he wants to do with his life, and thanks to Mary, the woman he falls in love with, what he really wants to do.
Now, you listen to me. I don't want any plastics, and I don't want any ground floors, and I don't want to get married ever to anyone. You understand that? I want to do what I want to do.
Look! You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna shoot the works. A whole week in New York, a whole week in Bermuda, the highest hotels, the oldest champagne.
Okay, Dee, choose a letter for us, please.
Let's try a D.
A D. There is one D. The highest hotels, the oldest champagne. Okay, John, choose a letter for us, please.
I'll take a T.
A T. Excellent choice. There are 7 T's. Says who? Says George. The highest hotels, the oldest champagne. Over to Bill for 90 points.
I'll have a V, please.
A V. There is one V. Okay, D, over to you. Pick a letter for us, please.
Okay, the F.
The F. For 85 points, there is one F, says George. The highest hotels, the oldest champagne. Okay, John, pick a letter for us.
N.
An N. There is one N. This will be for 80 points. Back to Bill. For 75 points, pick a letter, please.
I'll have the C, please.
A C. There are 2 C's. The highest hotels, the oldest champagne. And to D. Pick a letter for us, please.
An S.
An S. There are 4 S's. This will be for 70 points.
Oh, I know this kid.
Okay, John, over to you. Pick a letter for us, please.
H.
An H. There are 4 H's. This is for 65 points, says George. The highest hotels, the oldest champagne.
The richest caviar, the hottest music, and the... You got me.
Finish it up if you can. Okay, this will be a 60-point letter. Bill, go ahead and pick one for us.
R, please.
An R. There are 2 R's.
The richest caviar, the hottest music, and the prettiest wife.
Exactly. Yes, good job.
The M word.
The richest caviar, the hottest music, and the prettiest wife. And now let's see how George says
Look!
it.
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna shoot the works. A whole week in New York, a whole week in Bermuda, the highest hotels, the oldest champagne, the richest caviar, the hottest music, and the prettiest wife.
Oh, that does it.
Very nice. Our next scene takes us to Potter's office as he tries, unsuccessfully, to tempt George into joining his own greedy financial empire. Says who?
But George Bailey is not a common, ordinary yokel. He is an intelligent, smart, ambitious young man who hates his job, who hates the building and loan almost as much as I do. A young man who's been dying to get out on his own ever since he was born. A young man, the smartest one in the crowd, mind you. A young man who has to sit by and watch his friends go places because he's trapped. Yes, sir, trapped into...
Says Potter. This will be for 100 points. Choose a letter for us, D.
A G.
A G. There are 2 G's. Okay, John, pick a letter for us.
M.
An M. There is 1 M. Bill, for 90 points, pick a letter for us.
E, please.
An E. There are 4 E's. Says Potter he's trapped. Yes, sir. Trapped into... D, over to you. Pick a letter for us.
An L.
An L. There are 2 L's. John, this will be for 80 points. Your letter.
N.
An N. There are 2 N's. He's trapped. Yes, sir. Trapped into. Okay, Bill, over to you.
R, please.
An R. Excellent choice. There are 5 R's. Says Potter, he's trapped. Yes, sir. Trapped into. D, this will be for 70 points.
A Y.
A Y. There are 2 Y's. Okay, John, your letter?
T.
A T. There are 4 T's. Bill, for 60 points, your letter is?
W.
A W. There is 1 W. This is Potter. And back to D.
A C.
A C. There is 1 C for 55 points. Okay, John, your letter?
D.
A D. There is 1 D. It's a 50-pointer. Says Potter, he's trapped. Yes, sir. Trapped into. And choose a letter for us, Bill.
I'll take the S.
An S. There are 3 S's. Okay, D, over to you for 40 points. Choose a letter, please.
Let's go with the U.
A U. There is 1 U.
Flattering his life away.
Okay, over to you, John. Choose a letter.
The I.
An I. There are 7 I's. This may do it. Says who? Says Potter. He's trapped. Yes, sir. Trapped into.
Frittering his life away, playing nursemaid to a lot of garlic eaters.
Exactly. Now let's see how Potter says it.
Yes, sir. Trapped into frittering his life away, playing nursemaid to a lot of garlic eaters. Do I paint a correct picture, or do I exaggerate?
Now, after $8,000 has mysteriously disappeared from the Bailey Building and Loan, of course, we all know old man Potter stole it, George has a calm, cool, and collected chat with Uncle Billy.
Where's that money, you silly, stupid old fool? Where's that money? You realize what this means? It means...
Okay, this will be for 100 points.
I'll take the O, please.
An O. There is 1 O.
Thank you.
Okay, D, you saw George calmly talking to Uncle Billy. Choose a letter for us, please.
An R.
An R. There are 2 R's for 95 points. Can you complete the quotation? Okay, on to John. Pick a letter for us, please.
The D.
A D. There are 3 D's for 90 points. Can you complete the quotation? Back to Bill. Says George, you realize what this means. It means... Choose a letter.
The T, please.
A T. There are 4 T's. 85 points. And over to D. Your letter?
K.
A K. There is one K. John, your letter.
L.
An L. There is one L. You realize what this means? It means... Okay, Bill, pick a letter for us.
I'll have the S, please.
An S. There are three S's. For 70 points, can you complete the quotation? Okay, D, this will be a 65-pointer. Your letter?
I'll try the Y.
A Y. There is one Y. Says George, you realize what this means? It means... Okay, John, pick a letter.
N.
An N. There are 6 N's. Says who? Says George. You realize what this means? It means...
Bankruptcy and scandal and prison. That's what it means.
Exactly. Now let's see how George put it.
Where's that money? You realize what this means? It means bankruptcy and scandal and prison. That's what it means. One of us is going to jail. Well, it's not going to be me.
Now we return one last time to Potter's office, where George's last desperate request for financial help gets this sympathetic reaction.
Miserable little clerk crawling in here on your hands and knees and begging for help. No securities, no stocks, no bonds, nothing but a miserable little $500 equity and a life insurance policy.
This will be for 100 points. Pick a letter for us.
I'll have an R, please.
An R. There are 3 R's, Bill. Can you complete the quotation?
You're worth more dead than alive.
Exactly, yes. You're worth more dead than alive, says Potter. Let's see exactly how he puts it.
You're worth more dead than alive.
There we go. Well, it's time for a brief intermission. We'll be right back to show how a guardian angel named Clarence helps George realize that it really is a wonderful life. Stay with us.
The Small Business Development Center at College of DuPage helps companies cope with changing economic climates. For information on the various seminars, call 858-2800, extension 2771.
Welcome back to Says Who. Let's recap our scores halfway through the game. We've got John with 185 points in first place, Bill with 160 in second, and Dee has a way to go. She's got 0, but I know she can catch up. She'll get a couple this time.
Okay.
Now, when we last saw George Bailey, he had just about given up on life, and his unusual wish is about to be granted thanks to the miraculous appearance of his guardian angel, Clarence.
Yeah, so you still think killing yourself would make everyone feel happier, eh?
Well, I don't know. I guess you're right. Suppose it'd been better if I'd never been born at all.
What'd you say?
I said I wish I'd never been born.
Oh, you mustn't say things like that. You... Wait a minute. Wait a minute. That's an idea. What do you think? Yeah, that'll do it. All right.
Okay, choose our first letter to start off the second half. D for 100 points.
S.
An S. There is one S.
You've got your wish, you've never been born.
Very good. Exactly. D. You're coming back strong.
Jumps right back in the game.
All right. Yeah, that'll do it. All right. You've got your wish. You've never been born. Let's hear Clarence do it, though.
You've got your wish. You've never been bored.
In our next scene, in Martini's bar, which is now called Nick's, Clarence tries to explain to George why he was sent down from heaven, then reveals the celestial secret of the ringing bells.
I jumped in the river to save you so I could get my wings. Uh-oh. Somebody just made it.
Made what?
Every time.
Okay, John, can you complete the dialogue for us? Choose a letter first.
R.
An R. There's one R.
Every time you hear a bell ring,
Go ahead. Okay. We'll move over to Bill. Choose a letter for us.
I'll take the S, please.
An S. There are 5 S's.
Every time you hear a bell ring, it means that some angels just got his wings.
Exactly. You hear a bell ring, it means that some angels just got his wings. Now let's hear Clarence do it for
Every
us.
time you hear a bell ring, it means that some angel's just got his wings.
pixies go.
In the same scene, both Clarence and George discover that this new life George carelessly wished for is not as friendly in Pottersville as it used to be in Bedford Falls.
I was just thinking of a flaming rum punch. No, it's not cold enough for that. Not nearly cold enough. Wait a minute, wait a minute. I got it. Mulled wine, heavy on the cinnamon and light on the cloves. Off with you, me lad, and be lively.
Hey, look, mister. We save hard drinks in here for men who want to get drunk fast. And we...
Okay, Nick says this, and D, choose a letter for us.
An E.
An E. Oh, there are 8 E's. Says Nick, we serve hard drinks in here for men who want to get drunk fast, and... John, 95 points. Choose a letter for us.
M.
An M. There is one M. Okay, Bill, choose a letter for us.
I'll take the S, please.
An S. There are 2 S's. This will be for 90 points. D, over to you. Pick a letter.
Okay, the R.
An R. There are 4 R's. This will be for 85 points. Okay, John, choose a letter for us.
T.
A T. There are 4 T's. For 80 points, we serve hard drinks in here for men who want to get drunk fast, and...
And we don't need any characters around to give the joint atmosphere.
Exactly. We don't need any characters around to give the joint atmosphere. Says who? Says Nick.
Hey, look, mister. We save hard drinks in here for men who want to get drunk fast, and we don't need any characters around to give the joint atmosphere. Is that clear? I don't have to slip you my lip for a convincer.
In this scene, Clarence's message is finally getting through to George, making him realize that this new life is really no life at all.
Strange, isn't it? Each man's life touches so many other lives.
Says who? Says Clarence. We'll start with 100 points.
I'll take the N.
An N. Ooh, there are 6 N's. Strange, isn't it? Each man's life touches so many other lives. D for 95 points. Choose a letter.
The T.
A T. There are 2 T's. Okay, John, over to you. Pick a letter.
The W.
The W. There is 1 W for 90 points. Can you complete the dialogue?
And when he isn't around, he leaves an awful hole, doesn't he?
Exactly. Says who? Says Clarence. And when he isn't around, he leaves an awful hole, doesn't he?
Strange, isn't it? Each man's life touches so many other lives. When he isn't around, he leaves an awful hole, doesn't he?
In our last scene, we see George's reaction to his prayer, asking God to please let him live again.
Hey, George! George! You all right? Hey, what's the matter? Now get out of here, Bert, or I'll hit you again. Get out of here. What the Sam Hill you yelling for, George? George? Bert, do you know me? Know you? You kidding? I've been looking all over town trying to find you. I saw your car piled into that tree down there, and I thought maybe you... Hey, your mouth's bleeding. Are you sure you're all right? What you... My mouth's bleeding, Bert! My mouth's bleeding! Zuzu's pedals! Zuzu...
Zuzu's Petals. For 100 points, choose a letter for us.
E.
An E. There are 6 E's, Bill. Zuzu's Petals. And D. Choose a letter for us, please.
The M?
An M. There's 1 M. Says George. Zuzu's Petals. John, for 90 points, choose a letter.
R.
An R. There are 6 R's. Says who? Says George. Zuzu's Petals.
There they are, Bert. What do you know about that? Merry Christmas.
Exactly. Yes. Says George. Zuzu's Petals. There they are, Bert. What do you know about that? Merry Christmas.
Zuzu's pedals! Zuzu... There they are! Bert! What do you know about that? Merry Christmas!
We'll be right back with our final scores and the bonus round with that great final scene. So stay where you are.
Special thanks to our underwriters, Bogart's Movies and Music, Brown's Chicken and Pasta, Ken's World of Video, Little Caesar's Pizza, McDonald's, Pizza Hut, Taco Bell.
Welcome back. Well, it's official. D has 100 points and finished 3rd. Good job, D. We've got Bill at 255 in 2nd place. And our winner with 445 points is John. Good game, John. All right. Well, you're now going to see a segment from the final scene of It's a Wonderful Life. After we freeze frame it, some of the letters in that dialogue will be put in place. When the last letter's in, you'll have 10 seconds to complete it. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, good luck. Now a segment from the final scene of It's a Wonderful Life. This is when George's younger brother, Harry, makes his memorable toast.
Harry, how about your Banford in New York?
Oh, I left right in the middle of it, as soon as I got Mary's telegram. Good idea, Ernie.
A toast to my big brother, George, the richest man...
Go ahead, finish it up.
The richest man in time.
Oh,
The richest
no.
man.
Oh, nice try, but no. Oh, no. The actual quote is a toast to my big brother George, the richest man in
Town.
Oh, nice try.
Good idea, Ernie. A toast to my big brother George, the richest man in town.
Well, I'd like to thank all of our contestants for playing tonight, and I thank all of you for being with us. See you soon on America's Most Quoted Game.
Says who?
Says me, Rick K. So long, everyone.
Christmas, Jimmy! Hee-haw!